Next, let's discuss the expectation you should have from the life of a software developer. You'll be amazed how much different it is compared with what you expect it to be. So let's start with the basics. The million-dollar question. What does a software developer do? Please pause the video, take a few minutes to think about it, note the answer, and continue. Most likely you said something which has to do with writing code, right? If you didn't, congratulations. But if you did, it's not quite correct. Why? Because a software developer solves problems. This is the number one responsibility of a software developer, to solve problems. How does a software developer solve problems? Well, it all starts with defining the problem. If you don't understand the problem, you'll solve the wrong one, right? So first things first, define the problem and double check with the client that you are right. This is crucial. Next, you start thinking about the problem to be able to come up with a solution. This will take some time. Next, you will be in a constant learning mode. In this field, there's always something new to learn, so make sure you enjoy doing it before continuing. Next, you'll spend a lot of time in meetings to learn domain knowledge. This is where I expect you to put questions. I assume that you don't know what domain knowledge refers to. These are just the details of a certain business, how it works. For example, in case of a restaurant, before you are able to make an application for orders, you need to know how the orders should be placed, how the actual orders are made, by whom, and so on. Also, working hours, if delivery is included, and if so, at what cost. How does the restaurant make money? These are all details regarding the domain knowledge. Change the business and create an online store, the domain knowledge will also change. After having a better understanding of the problem, the domain knowledge, and you have a solution, only then you can get to the coding part. And this is where most beginner programmers fail. They jump directly to the coding part without thinking first what they want to achieve. They'll discover this as they go, but it will be too late, as most of the code needs to be rewritten, and by then, not too many are willing to throw it away and start over. So what do? They begin to adapt it, and usually it's a bad adaptation which transforms into an abomination. Imagine starting to develop a mean of transportation. So you think of a car, you start building the body of a small car, and then you realize you actually need a bike. So instead of starting over, you just add some bike pedals to the car. Hey, if it works, it's great, right? Well, not really. So after coding, make sure that you ask for code reviews from your teammates to avoid scenarios of having bike pedal power cars. Next, you will need to do research, a lot. So you will Google, a lot, to find more information about your solution and how to make it better. From improvements to the solution itself, so basically the main idea, to implementation, how to code it better, make it perform better, and so on. Next, you will solve problems by automating the repeating tasks. This will save you a lot of time in the long run. Other activities consist of dividing big tasks in smaller ones and estimating them. Of course, you will also need to hunt bugs and solve them, but also other tedious things such as answering to emails, writing documentation, and draw diagrams. But after doing all of this, in the end, you will get to experience a satisfaction which cannot be explained. It's a huge sense of achievement at the end which cannot be described in words. The bigger the project and how many people use it, the bigger impact it will have on the level of satisfaction. It almost gets addictive. So this is how a software developer solves problems. Did you expect to do all these things? There are also other things to take into consideration, such as you will get to spend at least 8 hours per day in front of a computer, maybe even more, as I assume you'll want to progress, so this takes more time outside of the working hours. Again, you will be learning often, so make sure you like the learning part as you will be doing it often. And finally, teamwork. You cannot achieve great things alone, no matter how much you try and how good you are at it. So be ready to embrace teamwork if you'd like to succeed. English is mandatory, at least a medium level, enough so that you can read and understand the documentation and specific literature. Usually the technical books have a simplistic English level as the technical part is hard enough, so there's no need to use fancy words to make it harder than it should. However, don't expect for the documentation and literature to be translated to your language in case your language is different than English. When this happens, the technology will most likely be at another level, so you need to keep up with the changes. Remember the constant learning part. So make sure that you have medium English levels if you want to continue. If you understand at least 80% from what I say, I think you are good. If you don't, think carefully how you want to proceed. Another unexpected thing that you should be aware of is that the more advanced you become, the less code you'll write, which is a bit weird, right? The idea is that when you get better, you'll spend more time helping others to deliver the project. Your value is higher in coordinating others than it is writing the code. It's a natural outcome. Finally, I really hope that you've considered choosing a career in software development for any other reasons except the financial part or the benefits which come with it. It is known that in IT, the employees are spoiled by the employer with all sorts of benefits like health benefits, free entries to various places such as gyms, pools, and all sorts of events, flexible hours, possibility to work remotely, which comes on top over a well-deserved salary. I know this might sound tempting, but it takes more than money and benefits to be a great developer. Even if money is the main motivator, you should still have other things such as enjoying challenges, believe that your work can make a difference, being part of the team, personal growth, or others. Otherwise, you won't get any better and the money will not be enough to keep you going in the long run, and after some time you will hate the job, and this is not healthy. Finally, here's a tip. Challenge everything until you really understand how and why something works the way it does. Apply this consistently every day and you will achieve results you never imagined. Now that you know what a software developer's life looks like, please go through them again and make sure that you start the job in the field for the right reasons. It's not worth investing your time in this direction if you are not willing to spend 8 hours per day in front of the computer, for example, especially in the beginning.